Hey Leo, how's it going? My name is Dre. This is your reading for September 2017. If you want a reading, email me. If you've already got one, thanks. Thank you guys for all your positive support and feedback. So let's get right into it. I'm using Tarot Apocalypses deck. In the center, we have the Wheel in reverse, Princess of Swords in reverse, King of Pentacles in reverse, Nine of Wands, Death, the Chariot in reverse, the Tower, Prince of Pentacles, Queen of Wands. Outcome, we have Seven of Wands. An additional card, we have the Four of Cups in reverse. So yeah, things are tough. Things are transforming. Things are transitioning, and they have been. And I feel like that whatever happened, especially I really feel like the eclipses sort of were intense for you guys, especially if you have a lot of Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus energy. It was really tough. And now coming out of that, I'm getting the sense that some of you are just feeling like a little bit disheveled, a little bit like out of sorts, a little bit unsure, uncertain, afraid even of where to go. But that's fine, because I do see this. I'm not seeing a lot of forward movement in this card, in this reading. I'm seeing it more as, because it is Virgo season, and you know what's happening in the sky right now is kind of crazy. I mean, what's happening in the world is crazy. So, because it is Virgo season and the Prince of Pentacles is Virgo, I'm seeing this as a time for you guys to, like with all the other signs I've done so far, like just reanalyzing, using the best of your Virgo traits, which Virgo is in you guys' second house. So, you know, ways that you're making money, your own self-worth, things that your comfort, your security, all of those sort of need to come under question. And I feel like for some of you, if you are in a relationship or if you're married, one person's doing more work than the other. I feel like especially if you are with somebody that is a spendthrift, is that the word? Where you spend money as much as you make it, as quickly as you make it, or somebody that's just so sort of superficial, or somebody that's not able to really take care of you or take care of your family in a way that is realistic. I feel like that either that person, or this could be you yourself, this king, gender doesn't really matter in general readings. Excuse me. I'm seeing it as like you feeling like it's a reversal of fortune, where you're feeling like it's tough to even make a breakthrough, to make a change, despite all the changes that have happened around you, and perhaps within you. Maybe there was an actual death in your family, or maybe that there is sickness, or again, if you're living on the path of the hurricanes that have just happened. We had Harvey, now we have so many hurricanes. I don't know what's happening. Please stay safe. Please take proper precaution. You and your loved ones, please do that. Because this Prince of Pentacles is really urging you to slow everything down. The Prince of Pentacles does not move. He surveys everything. He tries to understand the lay of the land. He plans everything out beforehand, like Virgo, needing to plan out things before you execute them, for maximum efficiency, understanding what works best and what doesn't, and also changing yourself to suit the needs of whatever changing, being adaptable, essentially, adapting yourself to different stresses or different events as they happen, which is what Virgo's really good at. So it's time to sort of utilize that strength, utilize that energy, because this reading's pretty straightforward because I'm seeing you guys especially as this Queen of Wands, um, because she is a fire sign. So there's a lot of pressure on your shoulders. There's a lot of pressure for you, I feel like, to get everything done. Or maybe because Virgo season has happened and we're coming out of Mercury retrograde, you're feeling sort of very tense. You're feeling very anxious about a lot of things, about whether or not, and it's directly tied to some events that have happened, like something was taken away from you or something around you is no longer working. Something around you has collapsed. And this could have been in the past, way past, but its effects are still carrying into the present, as well as this death card. And so that's telling me now is the time to sort of reestablish yourself in terms of how, repositioning yourself so you can sort of clear any hurdle or any obstacle that you need to overcome in order to reach your goal, in order to retain that sense of comfort or contentment or security that has otherwise been taken away from you. And for some of you, it's directly related to one other person, like a loved one, a spouse, somebody you're dating, or maybe it's just like, excuse me, there's a part of you now where this person could be coming back, or, you guys have finally ended it. And so now you're just like trying to figure out what to do next. Like, I feel like a part of you kind of wants to date again, but now would not be a good time to date, in my opinion. Part of you just really needs to guard against any sort of outside forces, any outside stress that is residual from what's happened here, or what's happened from what somebody sort of thrust upon you. And again, he could be related to this. Like, it could have been the dissolution of a relationship, a divorce, or something that you're probably contemplating because, you can't spread your wings with this oppressive energy. And I feel like the sooner, the Prince of Pentacles is looking at this tower. He's looking at that tower. So it's like, whatever lesson that could be learned from this, from what was destroyed in your life, and it could have been just like an ego sort of thing, because it's essentially what the tower is. It just knocks us off of it knocks us off of our crown or whatever. I don't know if that's the right expression, but it just sort of gives us a reality check that, we've probably gotten too comfortable, too complacent, too used to a certain way of doing things that in essence probably wasn't the healthiest. It doesn't even matter with the tower. It could be literally anything, something that could be good for us, bad for us, or just neutral, but either way it's not here any longer. Or the remnants of it is like, it's still there with death. You could still sort of be hanging on to it, or sort of trying to make something work from it, but it's not going to lead to anything, to any result. So that could be a love relationship, especially with this Princess of Swords in reverse. It's old energy. All this is old and it's supposed to die. So again, these are general, so that could really apply to anything. Love, work, family, career, creativity. But I really see going forward, the most important lesson for you is to understand where you fit in the midst of all of this. And this has also been a universal message too for the signs, needing to stand, because Cancer had a sort of a similar reading. They had a lot of similar cards, and we actually have Chariot here, which is the card of Cancer. So if you guys know a Cancer, or if you have a lot of Cancer energy, I would watch that reading too. But it's all about coming into taking your time to understand what long-term goals you want to see come to fruition. And again, where you've been entirely too lax, where you've been too forgiving, and that's interesting. The more I do tarot, the more I see different interpretations of cards, like the Nine of Wands. Like, it is resistance, and it is holding your own, but it's also, we get sort of, it's also like, if you've been arguing with somebody for such a long time, but you love them, but it's just like, even though they're bad for you, but you still give them the time of day, even though when you guys are around each other, it's chaos. It's that sort of energy too, where there's probably a part of you that's, you're trying to be on your own, and you're trying to sort of keep a firm hand away from this king, because that's exactly what this looks like to me. Guarding against yourself, but there's also a part of yourself that could be a little bit too forgiving, especially if you're not looking too far into the long term. Like, you need to be willing to align yourself with what the universe is trying to tell you, especially if you feel like you're in a down position, and I know a lot of you guys are, or in a really tough situation where you just need to sort of break free or break out of it. You need to have your best interests at heart, your own success, as well as something that's practical, something that is going to align all these elements of yourself into a cohesive whole, which is what the Chariot is. Getting all of these parts of ourselves functioning so we can create a better version of ourselves and bring that out into the world, or bring that, use that as our motivation for going forward. And so a lot of you, you have your energy on the side, but it's going to be difficult dealing with people around you that are kind of bossy, or like way too controlling, or way too superficial, too hung up on the wrong things. Just all they care is probably about money, 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 and they don't really care much about anything but themselves. So you need to really guard yourself against that and form a plan on what you need to do going forward. And have that fighting spirit that the Seven of Wands is, to push through any sort of obstacle that's in your way, and to keep that mentality going, because nobody else is going to do it for you. This reading to me can go south pretty quickly if this part of the reading is intended to, which is what isn't working, what needs to be let go of, what old thought patterns are you implementing that are being used against yourself. You need to allow yourself a different way to see things, and it's probably revolving around, this could be you, your own inability to sort of own up to your mistakes and own up to take responsibility for your actions, and putting, being too passive and being too unsure. Being too entrenched in your own ways of seeing things, or this is somebody else, where it's like their presence is so domineering, and it's so pervasive that it makes you feel like you can't really spread your wings and clear out of this. So it's all about coming into your own, understanding what is best for you realistically, in terms of you right here, right now, the money you're making and the things you're putting out into the world, and the effort you're doing, and the work everything that makes you a living, breathing human. Again, with those eclipses in Leo and Aquarius, what is your soul's purpose? And I'll just leave it at that. And this Four of Cups in reverse, don't be afraid to question your instincts sometimes, because your instinct might be to go back to the self-destructive, to the chaos, to the toxic things. But when you find yourself doing that, think about it. Catch yourself and just be like, "What am I doing? I'm just going back into old patterns." And so I pulled a card from the Whispers of Love Oracle deck, and it is show simple acts of kindness. A simple act of kindness can energize you and bring happiness to those around you. Yeah, Cancer literally got the same card, so I would watch that video as well. So I feel like that is, I'm seeing it more for yourself. You need to be kinder to yourself, Leo, because if you're not hard on yourself right now, I feel like people around you are really hard on you, or they're demanding a lot from you. When all you want to do is just sort of do your own thing and be your own person. which is what you should do. You know, you can't tend to everybody. You can't be everybody's friend. You can't please everybody. So it's best to understand what works for you and just do it. All right. Thank you so much, Leo. I will see you guys next month. Bye.